Our final heat race of the Unlimiteds on this Seafair Sunday is Heat 3B, and here are your headlines. The red boats, the Formula boats, former Budweiser boats, they do battle out here, the U5 and U7 teams. And what about the sponsor's choice? Albert Lee has his name all over the Albert Lee Cup, but can his boat win it all today? And finally, a fourth-place finish is not good enough for Dave Villwock, the defending champ. The Spirit of Cutter, how are they going to do? It's all coming up in Unlimited Heat 3B.
Heat 3B of the Albert Lee Cup at Seafair is brought to you by Viking. Visit Albert Lee to see how anybody can create a chef's dream kitchen. And is presented for Seafair by your Western Washington Hyundai dealers. Visit today and see the all-new Hyundai Genesis Coupe.
So here are the boats in Heat 3B. Taking a look at them, you got Graham Trucking. There's the Spirit of Cutter. Miss Albert Lee Appliance Formula Boats, Miss Jillian's and Miss Peters and May. The course, it's actually lightening up. Ceiling is lifting. That sometimes means a little more chop out on the water, so we'll get a look at that as we're about 2.5 minutes away from getting this one started. And the temperature's gone up a little as the sun has started to peek through. Let us take a look at the boats and the drivers coming your way for Heat 3B. And we start with Jeff Bernard in the U5 FormulaBoats.com, Mike.
And he will be coming out of the 4 lane. He has something to prove here. He wants to run very, very strong. He will figure into whether or not the Spirit of Cutter does well in this heat. You can be sure of that.
The U7 Graham Trucking boat is J. Michael Kelly, and he is coming on strong, Chip.
Really strong. He's got to use his head, work together with his teammate, Jeff Bernard, keep Dave Villwock behind him.
Chris Francis, what's the feeling down there in the pits?
Well, racing against his teammate, but you know what? These two guys, they've shown that they can start very well. And if J. Michael Kelly gets that good start, maybe he can hold off the Spirit of Cutter on the inside lane there.
The U37 boat is Bill and Jane Schumacher's. John Zimmerman at the controls, Mike.
A replacement boat for a boat far superior to this one that crashed in Detroit. Young John Zimmerman is doing his best, but this boat isn't up to it.
Well, how about the Albert Lee boat? We talked about it. Can the title sponsor win? And can Mr. Perkins, young Mr. Perkins, Chip, drive it home to victory?
Having a surprisingly good day. If they can win here, it's going to mean even more for Albert Lee.
Lee Stoll in the Albert Lee pits. How they feeling?
As you mentioned, they're the sponsor's choice. Very happy going into this after winning the Heat 2A. They've got a fast boat. Let's see if they can turn a good day into a great day based on the points.
The fastest boat, though, the U96, the Spirit of Cutter, and no tougher driver in this field than Dave Villwock.
And that boat, of course, is coming out of the number 2 lane, and he's got traffic, hardcore traffic on both sides of this. Should be interesting.
And finally, the Miss Jillian's boat with Cal Phipps at the controls.
Not much of a chance here, I'm afraid.
All right, those are the boats. 950 KJR listeners, welcome. You're listening to Cairo 7 live coverage, KairoTV.com, World Wide Web. Hat O'Day coming your way.
Villwock has such a piece of equipment with his propeller, with his engine, with the tradition of that former Elam, now the Spirit of Cutter team. If he can be beat, only Jeff or only J. Michael Kelly could do it in this heat. Take it away, Mike.
We shall find out, Patrick, if that is the case. J. Michael Kelly taking him to the line from the inside in that 7 boat. The Graham Trucking, it ticks on down, and it looks like we're going to be okay on our start. From the outside, the U37 goes across the line, sticking its nose out first, but here comes the Spirit of Cutter from lane number 2, Chip.
I think that boat is so fast, no matter how good a start you can get on the inside. I don't think you can hold Dave off for 3 laps, but he's giving it everything he's got right now.
And there just isn't the horsepower. Right now, Dave Villwock is pulling him from the outside now as the Spirit of Cutter, the U96, has about a 3 boat length lead, but from the inside, he's struggling to stay with him at this point is Graham Trucking's J. Michael Kelly. They're going to be side by side off the corner now. It's going to be brute speed that's going to determine which boat is going to be able to do this, and that nod has to go to the Spirit of Cutter. There it is. Oh, he gets off the loose, flies the boat quite a lot there as he come off the corner, and he will lead across the start-finish line at the end of lap number 1.
142.568 for Villwock, 139 for J. Michael Kelly.
He has his advantage down there in the apex of that turn, Chip.
right now you're seeing mostly boat performance. I tell you, J. Michael Kelly's done a great job driving. I can't believe he's as close to him as he is. I wonder what that means for the final. Maybe Dave Villwock is not as invincible as we thought.
Dave Villwock, of course, likes to fly his boat. He's getting perhaps a little more flight out of it than he'd perhaps like. As they go into that corner, once again, J. Michael Kelly from the inside is going to try to keep the pressure on him. He's diving into that turn with a lot of boat speed on the inside. But once more, the Spirit of Cutter comes out of the corner, and Dave Villwock is going to lead him across the line for the second time around, and he's got nearly a rooster tail, Pat.
And 144 miles an hour on that second lap. Second place is J. Michael Kelly. Third place is
Jeff Bernard,
and fourth is the Albert Lee Appliance.
Albert Lee Appliance, and Brian Perkins trying to catch Bernard at this point. Well, now it appears the wisest thing, Chip, is to give Dave Villwock the lead and don't break anything trying to catch him.
And the wisest thing Dave Villwock can do is just be smart. Sometimes he makes mistakes when he's got it right in his hand. He can't afford to do that right now.
He's get a little bit more conservative going into that corner, knowing that at this point J. Michael is back there quite some distance now. Comes out wide to keep his boat speed up, gives plenty of lane for that red boat in case there'd be any question about that. There has been in the past, and he'll come down to claim the checkered flag. Here comes the Spirit of Cutter, winner of Heat 3B with Dave Villwock at the wheel. Second place, J. Michael Kelly in the Graham Trucking. He's having a good day out here, letting that race come to him. Teammate Jeff Bernard, who has the superior equipment in that three-boat team, finishes third. Fourth overall, it's going to be Brian Perkins in the Albert Lee, and it looks like the 37 boat, Peters and May, Billy Shoemaker's boat, is going to wind up able to finish fourth overall, and that's John Zimmerman, and he's going to be very, very happy about that finish. And Cal Phipps, unfortunately, not able to perform very well today, comes across last.
You brought up a good point there, Mike. I would like maybe our own pit reporter to go down there, Chris, if you could find out how do they split up that equipment between J. Michael Kelly and Jeff Bernard, because teams have limited resources. There might be one good propeller, one good gear ratio. It'd be pretty interesting to see who gets the best equipment on that Formula team.
I got to tell you, Dave Villwock sent a message to the entire fleet on that second lap. This is rough water. He turned it at 144 miles an hour in competition water. Ooh, look out. That final heat's going to be a dandy.
It sure is, and he may be further outside depending upon the situation. He has a choice to make here, but it certainly is going to be to the right of Stephen David in that final heat. So if he has that kind of power, he's basically telling Steve David, look, you haven't run that fast all day. I just did.
You know what's going to be interesting, Mike, to see if Steve David can get boats in between him and Dave Villwock. That would be a huge help for Alberto if he can have the inside lane, which we know he probably will. But if he can get one or two boats between him and Villwock, that's going to be a big advantage.
So everybody starts and everybody finishes. It's an unfortunate situation for Cal Phipps on this race course, because Cal's a fine driver, and this boat from Detroit has been a good one. Just isn't performing well today.
Just not his day. Now the 37, which is called the Peters and May, that's the boat run by Bill and Jane Shoemaker. The question might be, what is a Peters and May? Well, that is a company, they sponsor the boat, and they are the freight company that haul the boats from the United States over to Qatar and back. So if you're at home saying, what the heck is a Peters and May? A Peters and May is the freight company that'll take them to that great race in the Far East.
I wonder if they could arrange to have Dave Villwock's maybe boat thrown off the barge on the way to Qatar to give them an advantage. I mean, it is their freighter.
There's David climbing out of the cockpit of the Spirit of Cutter, greeted by crew members. Another day in the park for Dave Villwock, who's won so many times over the course of the years, actually chasing Chip Hanauer in total wins, trailing him by a single win, and Bill Munsey, the great Bill Munsey, by 2 wins.
It's interesting how we decided that Cutter was the right word. We spoke to Boeing, and Boeing said when they buy airplanes from us, they call themselves Cutter. So we're going to go with Boeing.
And we're going to go with Chris Francis as he steps up with Dave Villwock, winner of Heat 3B.
Yeah, Stevie, just take the helmet off, and I think, Dave, I think we're back where we want to be, right? Is that accurate?
Yeah, we had to race our way in, and frankly, lane 2. It looks like I'll get lane 2 in the final, and you know I've chosen that place more than once here.
Yeah, talk about that second lap. I mean, you really blew by everybody in 144 miles an hour in the second lap.
Yeah, well, we knew we had to put some heat on, you know, and the crew changed everything, changed gearbox and propeller and everything, so we knew that was a big heat for us. We had to win that.
So there were some adjustments made, and it's all working out so far.
Yeah, and we'll probably make more.
Probably make more. See, back to work. The champion never sleeps, I guess, huh? Guys, back to you.
All right, thanks very much. Dave Villwock with a little sip there. Our Lee Stoll is standing by in the pits as well, and she's waiting for Brian Perkins to come ashore from his Albert Lee boat. He's there. Here's Lee.
Now we actually just kind of pulled you off the boat, Brian. A bit of a deep breath as you got to the dock from first to fourth. Any disappointment there?
No, you know, not really disappointment. We were up against a lot of fast guys, and we weren't sure how that was going to play out. The Qatar guys, the Alberto guys, 7 guys, I mean, everybody's really fast this weekend. So lane choice is everything. Lane choice is really critical, especially when it comes to getting points for the finals. So we're not disappointed, but we would like to have done better, yeah.
Is it really all about getting as many points as you can, getting into that final?
Yeah, once you get there, it's okay, but you have to get there first, and that's the critical part. So hopefully we've acquired enough points to do that for the Albert Lee team. I think so, but we don't know for sure yet.
All right, we'll see what happens, Brian. Thanks so much. Back to you, Steve.
Well, we know anything can happen, but you have to get into the finals before you find that out. Here are the unofficial results. From Heat 3B of your Unlimited Racers today, presented by the Muckleshoot Casino, Spirit of Cutter wins Graham Trucking, followed by Formula Boats. There's Brian Perkins' boat, Miss Albert Lee, the Miss Peterson May, and Miss Jillian's. Bringing up the field, Unlimited Heat 3B.
Heat 3B of the Albert Lee Cup at Seafair has been brought to you by Viking. Visit Albert Lee to see how anybody can create a chef's dream kitchen.
Congratulations to Dave Villwock of the Spirit of Cutter, the winner of Heat 3B. Remember, your search for the car insurance isn't over until you check out Geico at geico.com.